Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. This is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner, Corey Tackman over there. And Corey, before we get things going, a big night of section volleyball last night. We got two local teams making the section championship matches. Before we do all that, though, you always win a championship, Corey, when you go to Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Yeah, you got to check them out. Maybe it's for lunch today. Maybe it's for supper today. Maybe it's for something this weekend as you plan a trip around. But, of course, Wednesday, we want to remind you, if you haven't heard about Double Point Wednesdays, back in the FunZone Arcade through the end of the year. Now it's the 29th of October, so the end of the year is just like 8 weeks away, CJ, which is just wild. Every Wednesday, FunZone Rewards members can earn double points on all online and in-store FunZone purchases up to $100. Purchases must be added to a FunZone card, registered to your FunZone Rewards account. If you're not a FunZone Rewards member, well, just do it. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's double points every Wednesday at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
All right, Corey, section volleyball. Yesterday, you had quite a match over in Fergus Falls between Parker's Prairie and West Central area. Give us the tea. What happened?
Well, it was a match that ended in 4 in favor of the Parker's Prairie Panthers. That would be the punchline to all of this. But it was a great match and a close match. And it was like a dogfight every step of the way, CJ. West Central area, the Knights won the first 25-21. But at one point in that first set, Parker's Prairie had, for the life of me, I can't remember exactly, but like a 17-6, 17-8 lead, something like that.
Yeah.
And West Central area came all the way back to win that opening set.
Wow.
It just got red hot, and the serve receive for the Panthers just went ice cold. It was just like a perfect combination. Parker's Prairie wins set number 2, 25-21 by the exact same score. But again, Parker's Prairie was up 22-16 and had to hold on for dear life to win it 25-21. It's somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly at this point what those exact margins were. The Parker's Prairie won the third 25-23 and the fourth 25-23, and was the case all night long. Once somebody or both teams got to 16, it was an absolute sprint to 25 on who was just going to hold on the tightest and the hardest and come out with the victory. The Panthers do come out victorious in this one. They move on to the 6A championship. They'll play Saturday night, 7:00 at Fergus Falls as the 2 seed against the top seed Belgrade Bruton El Rosa Jaguars. So the top 2 teams, it goes chalk there, move on to the section championship. The Jaguars beat Hillcrest Lutheran Academy in their semifinal. That was a straight sets victory for the Jags in that one. Just an unreal match. Parker's Prairie hasn't been to a state tournament since 2010. Mm-hmm. Coach Amy Revering was an assistant on that team. She took over the next year. But the Panthers were led by Alyssa Revering, 16 kills. She actually led all players. Kendall Strand had 11. Evie Griniger, 7. Natalie Schroeder had 4. Alexa Legou had 1. 3 service aces for Kendall Strand and Henley Murnack. Henley's, by the way, ace was the clincher. That's the one that won it for him in the 4th set. 24-23, Murnack serving, ace, match, set, season over for West Central area. 2 service aces, by the way, for Lily Steidel. The Knights were led by Madison Fagry. She had 15 kills. Isabel Puchalski had 11. And I just want to, if I can, shout out Isabel Puchalski. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. First of all, if I'm not, I apologize. But she is awesome. She's awesome. She had a play, CJ, by the post of the up official or of the down official.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire defense was sucked in. And the Panthers saw the opening, top right corner.
Right.
And she saw it. No one else saw it. She saw it and went for a dead sprint and supermaned it into that far corner and kept the ball and the point alive. And the Knights ended up winning that point. I've just never seen effort and hustle. And she, by the excellent leaper, unbelievable athlete, super strong. I was just really impressed with her overall and her overall game. Brindley Ulrich finished with 7 kills. Jacqueline Nelson had 5. And then it was 1 apiece for Carly Brendmoen and Piper Sandstead. Sandstead's a 5'10" freshman setter. She's got great hands. 3 aces for Jacqueline Nelson, Isabel Puchalski, and 2 for Madison Fagry. Season comes to an end for West Central area, but for the Panthers, they play in a section championship. Again, that'll be a Saturday night, 7 o'clock in Fergus Falls against top-seeded BBE. And I don't have the broadcast schedule in front of me. What's our plan for that one?
You'll Superstation K106, 105.9 FM, streaming online at WDenaRadio.com or Superstation K106 mobile app, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first serve. Saturday night, there's a party in Fergus Falls, and Corey Tackman's inviting you to join him on the radio.
There's also a party somewhere else that I will be attending the second it's over. Why do I look like did my camera get it? There we go.
Your chair, I think your chair might just be too low or something. I don't know.
What happened? I think I
bumped. You watch the show on YouTube, you could see Corey's face get covered up by the graphic.
I mean, I could. Should I just go down here? I could do the whole show from.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it from right here.
Yeah. We could put, the best part is that it covers your mouth. We could put whatever audio we wanted over top of it, and nobody, you could say anything right now.
Let's talk about politics.
All right, we've now made a quote that we are going to attach to Corey Tackman that'll follow him the rest of his life.
Here, let's play a game. You want to play a game real quick?
All right.
Is my mouth open or closed?
I'm going to go closed.
Yes. Correct. All right, let's do it again. Ready? Is my mouth open or closed?
Closed. Yes.
Correct. Is my mouth open or closed?
Well, now you're going to go open. Oh,
you suck.
This is like guessing rock, paper, scissors every time. Tackman's just going with rock.
All right, one more time. Is my mouth open or closed?
Surely it can't be closed a fourth time. There we go.
Clip it.
Clip it. There we go. This is the fun you get on the morning sports desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. When you watch on YouTube, that's why you should do that. Although we appreciate you listening, however you listen.
Indeed.
On your favorite podcast application or on YouTube, we got you covered. Speaking of getting things covered, Wadena Deer Creek took care of business on Tuesday night in Moorhead. Section 8AA semifinal volleyball matchup. They get a 3-1 win over East Grand Forks. Now, this is the 3rd straight year since Wadena's been back. Wadena Deer Creek has been back in Section 8AA, and this is now the 2nd time they've advanced to a section championship game. All 3 years they've been back in Section 8AA, they've at least made the semifinal round. So they are a tough team to beat every single year. They got a good group of players, and they were making the most of this window here, and they are going to the section championship game after getting a win 25-15 in the first set. Again, like you talked about, Corey, close throughout the first kind of 10 points of that match, and then the Wolverines started to take over. And then in set number 2, same kind of deal, 25-21. Wadena Deer Creek gets it. And then East Grand Forks came out with a kind of hold on for dear life set, kind of back against the wall, 25-15. They get that one, and that was one where about tied up kind of in that 10-12 point range. And then East Grand Forks really had the Wolverines all out of sorts in that set. Then Wadena Deer Creek comes back mentally strong, wins 25-20 in that 4th set to win the match. And Peyton Gravel had the exclamation point, set it up to her middle of the front row, hammered it to the middle of the floor. Nobody from East Grand Forks could catch up. She finishes the night, Corey, with how many kills?
Well, you said she had 80 plus kills in her last 4 matches.
Something like that, yeah.
So I'll say 21.
Nope. She finished with 18.
Oh, all right. 21's a good guess.
Excuse me. Let me
count 21.
My numbers here.
20?
Oh no, sorry, that's 5, 10, 15, 23.
That was 21 was a better guess than you let on.
Yeah, that was good. She had just again, you need your best players to step up this time of year, and she's the best player on the floor almost every volleyball match she goes to, and looked like it on that one. But I don't want to just single her out. Kennedy Ness had 15 kills and a couple service aces. Yeah. Celia Arenio, 7 kills. Jada Dykhoff, 4 kills. Ashley Pavick with 3 kills as well on the night. 2 service aces for Kennedy Ness, 2 for Avery Lipinski, 1 for Peyton Gravel, 1 for Jada Dykhoff, 1 for Ashley Pavick as the Wolverines rolled in that one. They're just playing good volleyball. Like, there's nothing special about it. They're getting the ball to the ones they need to get to. They, have a little bit of bumps down the way, but overall, this is a team that's playing their best volleyball at the end of the year, and they roll in to a section championship game where they're going to get a rematch with the Holly Nuggets, who both these teams for Holly, I mean, they've just kind of taken care of business. I don't think they've lost a set this entire playoff run. And for Wadena Deer Creek, they get an upset win in Roseau in 5. They get a win over East Grand Forks, who got an upset win over DGF. So EGF kind of slayed the dragon in Dilworth, Glendon Felton, a team that beat Wadena Deer Creek earlier in the season. And then you get to beat the Green Wave, a team that the Wolverines beat already, and they get to go to the section championship game against the Holly Nuggets. That'll be Saturday, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first serve on 101.7 FM and AM 920 KWAD, and online at wadenaradio.com/KWAD. We don't quite know where it's going to be yet. I'm on the Minnesota State High School League website right now. And as I refresh my page one more time to be sure, nope, still no official location. It says to be determined. Could still be in Moorhead, obviously. Will it move somewhere a little kind of more in between Holly and Wadena Deer Creek? Could it move to a Perham, a Detroit Lakes, a Pelican Rapids, somewhere in there? It remains to be seen. We'll see how things shake out. But until that's announced, we do know that there will be coverage on KWAD Saturday night, and we'll have a doubleheader of section championship volleyball, which, again, Corey, these section title games, there's just so much juice in the gym.
Got the juice. It's got the juice, baby. And then what did we see? Alexandria, is it 8-4A or 8-3A?
Yes, 4A, because they moved up.
8-4A. Alexandria is going to a state volleyball tournament. They knocked off the top-seeded Monticello Magic.
By the way, speaking of the Monticello, it was really funny when I worked in TV. You're with a bunch of people who are from all across the country.
Yep.
And there was an assistant sports director who told me a story that her first time having to say Monticello, she, asked one of the reporters there, said, "Hey, how do you pronounce the name of this town?" And he very confidently went, "Oh, it's Monticello. That's how you say that. That's how you say Monticello." That's how you say. Despite the fact that he had never lived in Minnesota till working here. He's from north of Chicago and went to school at DePaul. So,
but I will say, in his defense, we pronounce it incorrectly.
Oh yeah, 100%. But also, he never lived there, and he was from people who will retell the story with him. They'll go, "Yeah, but you were so confident despite never, no prior knowledge. You just kind of went with it." And she went on television and said Monticello. So
yeah, tough look.
Now, to be fair, nobody in Duluth really cares about Monticello. So whatever. Now, if you mispronounce Solon Springs and call it Salon Springs, that's when people get upset.
Yeah, we don't like that.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Don't you dare call it Carlos. You better call it Carlos.
You got to get the names right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a fair rule.
Don't you dare call it Holdingford. Call it Holdingford.
They can go fly kite.
Don't you dare call it Albany. Call it Albany.
No. That one's also wrong. What's the other? What's some other town names that have weird pronunciations? Here, I'll tell you. I'll just tell you some weird ones depending on what part of the state you grow up in. You don't even need to be from out of state.
Right.
What county is your college alma mater in?
Beltrami County.
Everyone where I grew up pronounces it Beltrami.
Well, sorry, they're wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. That's just it's just one of those weird, that was when I moved here, that was it's Beltrami. I understand.
That was one where, again, we were covering something that happened in Beltrami County, and I like looked at the person who was going to anchor that day because she was from Ohio.
Yeah.
Sorry for her loss. She was from Ohio, and I was like, it's Beltrami County. Don't say Beltrami. You'll get eaten alive.
But it's also why Albany, for example, I will forever say Albany because no one says it the same.
Right.
Except for people from Albany who say Albany.
Right.
Just throw that out there.
Albany.
Get out of here with Albany.
It's not Melrose. It's Melrose.
Melrose.
You know those Dutchmen.
There are a few. I mean, like there's a little town by where I grew up. It's New Auburn. Like the college town, Auburn. Yeah. New Auburn, spelled the same. And all the locals say Auburn, New Auburn. Just in a like the same, but they're the same people who'd say washcloth. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Giving your truck a wash.
Yeah, got a wash. We're from Nert to Curter. But like I just will. I will not say New Auburn. I'm not gonna do it.
Nope.
I'm gonna do it.
No. When I was in high school, we were taking a class. One of the things is you had to look at prospective colleges and stuff like that. And they were like, yeah, pick ones that are realistic and then pick ones that are fun. Like the whole point is just to experiment, whatever. And one of the guys was writing on the board the different colleges people researched and wrote down, and everybody's listing off everywhere. UNC, Boise State, all the big names. And then one of the guys was just in there, was like, yeah, I don't quite know how to say this. It's A.U. Burn. And the person writing on the board was going, you could see him like write the A and stop and then turn around and go, ah?
What?
Like, what is that? And so forever I'll think of it as A.U. Burn because that guy just botched it beyond repair.
There are a lot of towns, though, and communities around here that are very like people around here get defensive of. Like
Wadena is definitely like Wadena is how like Wadena.
If you're not, there's a lot. It's like WAH. A lot of people pronounce it. From I went to college in Winona, and there's a lot of people who say Winona, which drives me crazy. But yeah, you're right. Like, why is Carlos? That doesn't make any sense. A dead giveaway on Alexandria is how you pronounce the nickname of that town.
Right?
That is a dead giveaway. But yeah, there's a lot around that folks get very defensive about, and they probably should. Like, you got to get that right.
Right, it's where I'm from. Put some respect on its name. I remember talking with somebody this is the dead giveaway because he had somebody who had family and had a cabin around Alexandria, and we said, oh yeah, it's over in Alec, and he went Alex, and he was very like, it's Alex, Alex. It's like, no, dude, I've lived 45 minutes from that town my entire life. It's Alec. When you're going to Alexandria, that's what you say.
But here's the thing. No one outside of the Alexandria area calls it Alec. So like the minority of the people here are the people who are actually correct, which is strange.
Right.
Because everyone else says Alex. Everyone. The entire state. Mm-hmm. There is a 1 hour radius tops around that town that says Alec. Everyone else says Alex. So now I ask, who's actually correct?
The people who live there. People who live there. I'm not being too complicated about it.
No, I mean, I agree with you, but it is funny that most people call it something different.
It's the meme of the guy who has like, there's a giant crowd of people and he's just standing there next to a microphone and goes, yes, you're all wrong. And
you're all wrong. Yes, that's exactly right.
That's the meme. Yes, everybody who calls it Alex, you're all wrong.
I'm trying to think. Some of the other ones. I think it's funny. Like there's this little town I just drove through it, Amor, but it looks like the Spanish word amor. Like that, you would just never know. You would just never know. So somewhere in a very recent vicinity to where we're sitting, there's a town called Carlos and a town called Amor that is pronounced Carlos and Amor. It's really funny.
Yeah. That pretty much does it, I think, for our examples. And you know what?
Winona is always a big one.
Mm-hmm.
You're a baseball throw out of that town. Like, oh, you're in Winona? Like, no, bro.
No.
What do you mean Winona?
Bemidji, and then as Al Michaels pronounced it on Sunday Night Football, Bemidji.
Bemidji?
Like, no, Al.
Legend Bemidji. How about Kirk Herbstreit just crucifying Carson Wentz for basically not having an arm anymore? It's like, you got to behave different. Like, that dude's legitimately hurt. What do you
NFL starting quarterback Kirk Herbstreit, by the way?
What do you mean he needs to be a better leader? The guy is playing through literal actual tears right now.
The guy died on the field.
Screw you, Kirk Herbstreit.
This is a dude who, by the way, and
bring your dog on set again.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, this is a dude who wants everybody to cry for his dog. And then Carson Wentz is dying on the field. And they go, hey, man, you got to be a little tougher out there.
That's not the way to be a leader of men. Screw you.
Dude. Come on now. I think you want to know what'll get your teammates respect is gutting through that injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not crying. Like
a world where crying is you just don't do it. And if you are, it must be terrible. You call out his leadership. Go fly a Buckeye looking kite.
What is a Buckeye, Corey?
Mm-hmm. It sure is.
All right. So yeah, I think that gets us into kind of the last thing to mention, which is the Vikings injury stuff. Corey, the Vikings season has just been tanked by injuries, right? And like, where do they go from here? Because like, there's a lot of emphasis to be made on Carson Wentz, but I think we all understand what Carson Wentz is, who Carson Wentz is. It's unfortunate, but JJ McCarthy. But even then, JJ McCarthy's injury, he rolled his ankle. It was initially a 2 to 4 week injury, and it's been 6 weeks since he's had that. He flew with the team overseas and had some swelling and things like that pushed his rehab back. And Christian Darrisaw has been up and down with injuries this year. Andrew Van Ginkel has been MIA due to injury a lot of the year, and he would practice and he played 8 snaps and then he didn't play at all. And this has just been a weird year for injuries. And even Christian Darrisaw has mentioned that, like, hey guys, my injury timeline, I wasn't like, week 1 was never on my timeline. Like, I was not planning to come back week 1 at all. Like, we were planning like week 3, week 4, which is when he really actually did kind of come back. So a lot of this just feels like the Vikings, just some years are better than others with injuries and how they happen, but how you handle them is definitely something the team has control of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. Your boy Matthew Collar had a report come out basically that's like there's some major questioning in some circles. I don't know if it's around the league, if it's around the Vikings, if it's around people who cover the Vikings, but like it's been weird. So, and this is not just the Carson Wentz example. This was the thing that the whistleblower, I guess, in the whole situation, and we don't even know what the whole situation is yet. This is like just the sounding of the trumpet here. But it's starting to seem like the organization, there's a chance they're not handling this the way they need to be. And it's important to caveat this with, like, Carson Wentz is allowed to say, I can go play. Like he is, if the medical staff says you can't make it worse, you can play if you think you can play, then he's allowed to go play. The coaching staff is supposed to listen to the medical staff and then that player and then make the decision based off of that. So the coaching staff is allowed to let Carson Wentz play. Now, where it gets dicey here is, why is the medical staff saying Carson Wentz can go in and play? Why aren't they saying anything? And why is this so weird with Andrew Van Ginkel? Why did they move up this Christian Darrisaw timeline seemingly out of nowhere when we're finding out that maybe that timeline was never the original timeline? So there's some, I'm not saying it's nefarious because there's no evidence yet that it is nefarious. There's some things that are coming out that are going to be bad if they end up being true. Like organizationally, an organization that is pretty well respected around the league.
And well respected for their medical staff, by the way.
Every single year. If this is turning out to be an organizational problem, it's a huge problem because guys don't want to play for teams that are going to hang them out to dry.
Right. Well, and this is the thing too. Remember, one of the first things Kevin O'Connell did when he got here is he cleaned out the strength and conditioning department. Like when he first got here, he talked with players, and Justin Jefferson was one of the biggest ones that basically was kind of like, we got to get better in that area. And Kevin O'Connell overhauled it. And like guys like Aaron Jones, who always are hurt, last year had a perfectly healthy season and told everybody like, yeah, the Vikings had a great plan and that plan was executed. So a little bit of this, again, can just be sometimes things work out and sometimes everything comes up snake eyes. It's hard to tell the huge difference, but the big thing to remember is just that the Vikings and how they handle this, like you said, Corey, will reverberate not just into next season, but also in this season right now. You're trying to hold the locker room together at 3-4. You have the Lions coming up. You have the Ravens coming up. Those are not too easy opponents. And then you play Chicago, who I know they lost on Sunday, but is playing much better football. Like the schedule doesn't get any easier, and you got to figure what you have with McCarthy, and you're going to need to kind of keep the locker room together for that. And if you have guys who are like, man, what are we doing? We're throwing out guys that are hurt. Are they going to do the same with me? What's going to happen? Like, I'm going to need to look out for myself here. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm not saying they're on the brink of that, but it just feels like this has become a storyline and it didn't necessarily have to be, you know what I mean?
And we don't know that any of it's true. It's just now, this has been some of the talk, and it went from gossipy to Matthew Collar talking about it. And Collar's got a little skin in the game here. That guy has got enough connections to when it's coming from him, you do have to take it a little more seriously. Here's the other part of it though. That's also true. We only addressed that aspect of it. Here's another part that is absolutely true that we forget about when having this conversation. The Vikings, or let me go bigger picture, NFL teams get injured. That's just a part of it. And the Vikings hitch their wagon to a lot of old guys and a lot of experienced guys who have and are injury prone. And it might also just be that it's all come to a head.
Right. I mean, that's the other thing too. The Vikings like to, again, this isn't analytical, but it's more of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. Remember, he's the guy who made his bones in Wall Street, and he's kind of got some background in that part of the world. And what do stock traders like to do? They like to find depreciated assets and buy them, not on the cheap, but you want to, like, what's the best value for our stuff? And the Vikings took a chance on Jonathan Allen, who was a veteran and who was good and productive, and basically said, yeah, like you're not going to be in the prime of your career, but we can still probably milk some good production out of you while you're there. Same thing with Jonathan Hargrave and things like that. And some of these players are hurt or just not performing. And this is the other thing too with the Vikings, is that they brought back Aaron Jones. Andrew Van Ginkel had an injury history, but it's not the same injury that's been bothering him. That was kind of with him in Miami. Like you said, you just take a chance when you have a veteran roster, and the Vikings have one of the oldest rosters in the NFL, by the way. It's a mix of, you have a lot of veteran players who you signed because you felt like even though they're not 27 in the prime of their careers, they're maybe 29, 30, 31. But if you can get 2 good seasons out of them, hey, we'll take that. And also the fact that the Vikings, just whether they've drafted well or they haven't, they have only had like 4 top 100 picks since Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has been the general manager. Like they just haven't had a lot of bites at the apple of top 100 draft picks. And I know that they've had some guys hit. I know that they've had some guys, undrafted free agents, some late round picks end up doing some things, and they develop some other players. But the thing is to say is this team just hasn't had a ton of draft picks. And even though the Vikings have hit on Addison, it looks like they've hit on Donovan Jackson, the guard, and 1 or 2 guys along the way. When you don't have a ton of that top end of the draft talent, you don't have the opportunity to get kind of high end talent on your team that's young. And so when the older guys aren't playing, there's not a lot of young talent you can draw from.
And what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to go out and get pickup guys who are less good?
Right.
Like, we're going to stock up on guys who are not as good at football as these other guys. Like, you have to take the risk on some of these guys who might have some injury problems. Like, like in the smaller picture, like we said, Kevin O'Connell is supposed to take the advice. He's the president here, right? This is his cabinet. The cabinet of the medical staff said Carson Wentz, he can't make it worse. It's a pain tolerance thing. If he says he can go, he can go. And then you look at cabinet member Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz says, I can go. Go then. If you're picking up what's his face, the center, who's had 5 concussions in his career, and he says, I'm good to go. I'm ready to give it a go. I'm a great player. And you decide he's a great player, and maybe like what are you going to do? You're going to keep Garrett Bradbury around?
Right.
So some of this it's the first time in Kevin O'Connell's coaching career that it's not going good. And there's a very obvious thing happening to the team when it hasn't been going good, and it's injuries. So you just start to boom, hone in on that.
Right.
And you're going to nitpick it. You're going to pick it apart. And that is just going to be a thing that he in particular is going to have to deal with and work around.
Right. That being said, if JJ McCarthy comes back and plays well, we'll forget it. It's just the nature of the beast in the NFL. By the way, Aiden Hutchinson just signed a 4-year contract extension with the Detroit Lions today.
Congrats to him, I guess.
He's going to be going up against a banged up Brian O'Neill on Sunday.
Yep.
Vikings, since Kevin O'Connell has been the coach of the Vikings, are one of the most sacked teams in football. So, which is just more by schematically. O'Connell just likes the long downfield passes, which are going to tell your quarterback to stay in the pocket more. That's,
and has guys who refuse to take a step to the side.
Right, exactly. And despite the elite tackle play, the pressure up the middle was awful your first 3 years here, your first 2 years.
Will continue to be.
Right.
For at least another week.
Uh-huh. All right, great times. Wolves play the Lakers tonight without Ant. No Luka for the Lakers, but it'll be on ESPN. So
no LeBron either, I believe.
No LeBron either. So get ready for Austin Reeves versus Julius Randle.
I can't wait. I want to see a little how about Dillingham and Bronny?
Yep.
Can we get one-on-one? Those two guys just try to cook each other.
If the game goes to overtime, we don't play an overtime period. We let them play pickup one-on-one, first to 3 wins.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. There we go. We got it set. All right. That's going to do it. We're out of here. Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.